Have you ever wondered how some people seem to stay motivated even in the toughest of times? This is a question that has puzzled many. Today, we delve into the realm of motivation, particularly during challenging periods. We seek to unravel this mystery and provide you with strategies to keep your motivation levels high, even when the going gets tough. Because indeed, motivation is not a constant, but a variable that can be influenced. So, how do we keep this fire burning? Imagine two climbers both aiming to reach the top of a daunting mountain. Our first climber is Jack, a seasoned adventurer brimming with internal motivation. He's fueled by his passion for climbing and the thrill of conquering yet another peak. When Jack faces a challenging climb, he draws strength from within. He visualizes the summit, remembers the exhilaration of past victories, and pushes through the hardship. His motivation comes from his love for the journey, not just the destination. On the other side, we have Jill, a climber who thrives on external motivation. She's driven by the cheers of her supporters, the admiration of her peers, and the tangible rewards waiting at the top. When she stumbles upon a difficult path, she relies on encouraging words and the promise of a trophy to propel her forward. Her motivation is sourced from the outside world, from the validation and recognition she receives. As they ascend, the mountain tests them with its harsh winds and steep paths. Jack, powered by his internal motivation, remains steadfast. The tougher the climb, the more determined he becomes. His drive is like a flame that refuses to be extinguished no matter how strong the wind blows. Meanwhile, Jill finds her motivation wavering with each hurdle. When the cheers of her supporters fade in the distance and the trophy at the top seems unreachable, her enthusiasm dwindles. She finds herself questioning the purpose of her climb. This tale of two climbers illustrates a crucial point about motivation. Both internal and external motivators can be powerful, but they work differently. Jack's internal motivation is his constant companion, helping him persevere even in the face of adversity. On the other hand, Jill's external motivation is fickle, waxing and waning with the circumstances. While both climbers face the same obstacles, their strategies to stay motivated greatly impact their journey. Jack's love for the climb keeps him going, while Jill's dependence on external validation leaves her struggling. This story serves as a reminder that our source of motivation can make all the difference when the going gets tough. Let's unpack the strategies employed by our climbers and see how they can be applied in our lives. Now, remember the two climbers from our tale? Let's look at their distinct approaches to scaling the mountain. The first climber was driven by the thrill of the climb itself, the challenge, the exhilaration of reaching new heights. This is what we call intrinsic motivation. It comes from within and is fueled by personal satisfaction and a sense of accomplishment. On the other hand, the second climber was motivated by the prospect of reaching the summit and the recognition that comes with it. This is an example of extrinsic motivation, where actions are driven by external rewards or outcomes. Intrinsic motivation is like a flame that burns from within, keeping you going even when things get tough. It's the passion for painting that keeps an artist going through the night, or the love for a subject that makes a student study beyond what's needed for the exam. It's this internal drive that can make the journey as rewarding as the destination. Extrinsic motivation, meanwhile, is like a carrot dangled in front of you. It's the promise of a promotion that pushes an employee to work overtime, or the prospect of winning a trophy that drives an athlete to train harder. It's this external reward that provides a tangible goal to strive towards. Both these types of motivation have their place and can be powerful tools in different scenarios. Intrinsic motivation can fuel long-term goals and pursuits that require endurance and resilience. It can keep you engaged and passionate about what you're doing, even when the going gets tough. Extrinsic motivation, on the other hand, can be extremely effective for short-term tasks or goals with a clear endpoint. It provides a clear reward to aim for, which can act as a powerful push in the right direction. Now let's think about how we can apply these strategies in our daily lives. Say you're trying to get fit. If you're intrinsically motivated, you might focus on the feeling of getting stronger, the rush of endorphins during a workout, or the satisfaction of seeing your progress. If you're extrinsically motivated, you might set a goal of running a marathon or losing a certain amount of weight, and reward yourself when you reach that goal. Or consider learning a new skill. If you're intrinsically motivated, you might revel in the process of learning, the joy of mastering something new. If you're extrinsically motivated, you might aim to get a certification or use the skill to achieve a specific outcome, like getting a better job or impressing someone. While both strategies can be effective, the key is to find what works best for you. Don't be afraid to mix and match, to use extrinsic rewards to kickstart your journey and intrinsic motivation to keep you going. Remember, the right motivation strategy can turn the steepest mountain into a rewarding climb. What if I told you that having a purpose can be your most powerful motivator? Indeed, the power of purpose cannot be underestimated. It is the fuel that keeps the engine of motivation running, even in the face of life's toughest trials and tribulations. Think back to our climber's tale. Both were faced with the same towering peak, the same biting cold, the same grueling journey. But what separated them? It was their purpose. The first climber, driven by the allure of fame and recognition, found his motivation waning when the going got tough. The thrill of applause from a distant crowd was not enough to sustain him in the face of such adversity. Now consider the second climber, the one who made it to the top. His purpose was not rooted in external validation, but rather in a deep, internal desire to conquer his own limits. His purpose was personal, it was meaningful, it was powerful, and it was this purpose that kept his spirit aflame even when the world around him seemed to be conspiring to extinguish it. That's the power of purpose. It's the reason why some people can endure immense hardship and still keep going, while others crumble at the slightest sign of trouble. Finding your purpose, understanding what truly drives you, can be the key to maintaining motivation in the face of adversity. Purpose is not about what you do, but why you do it. It's not about the destination, but the journey. It's not about achieving a goal, but about who you become in the process. When you have a clear purpose, you have a reason to get up in the morning, a reason to keep going when the going gets tough. You have a North Star guiding your steps and keeping you on course, even when the path is unclear or the terrain difficult. So I urge you, find your purpose. Dig deep within yourself, understand what truly drives you, what truly matters to you, and let that purpose be your guide, your motivator, your beacon in the darkest of nights. Remember, a clear purpose acts like a compass, guiding you through the toughest storms. So what can we learn from our climbers about staying motivated in tough times? Well, let's rewind a bit and recap the journey we've taken together. Remember our two climbers? Each faced the same mountain, the same challenges, yet their experiences were vastly different. Why is that? The answer lies in their motivation strategies and their clear sense of purpose. The first climber, remember him? He was powered by extrinsic motivation. He was drawn to the mountain's peak by the promise of fame and recognition, his eyes firmly set on the prize. But when the going got tough, his motivation waned. The glittering prize seemed too far away, the journey too hard. Now let's turn our attention to the second climber. Unlike the first, her motivation was intrinsic. She climbed not for the fame or recognition, but for the sheer love of the climb. Each step, each breath, each heartbeat was a testament to her passion. When the climb got tough, she reminded herself of her love for the mountain, her purpose. And that, my friends, was what kept her going. So, what's the morale here? It's simple. When it comes to staying motivated, especially in tough times, it's not so much about the destination, but the journey. It's about finding a purpose that resonates with you, that makes you want to get up in the morning, that keeps you going when the going gets tough. Your purpose doesn't have to be grand or world-changing, it just has to be yours. Maybe it's a passion for painting, a love for cooking, a fascination with numbers, or a desire to help others. Whatever it is, hold on to it, embrace it, let it guide you, and once you've found your purpose, choose your strategy. Will you be like the first climber, driven by external rewards, or like the second, fueled by an internal fire? There's no right or wrong answer here, just what works for you. So to wrap things up, let's revisit our key points. First, understand that motivation is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It's personal, unique to each individual. Second, find your purpose. It's your compass, your guiding star. And third, choose your motivation strategy. Do what works for you. Motivation isn't about avoiding the hard times, but about finding the strength to keep going when things get tough. So find your purpose, choose your strategy, and keep climbing no matter how steep the mountain may seem.